and he's able to just get on that rock and put an angle down. But for Kashera on Crypto, I'm sure we have the EMP locked and waiting, but the choice is, where do we sit this position? Because at that point, do you full send onto PassionUA and try to play for second, grab as many eliminations as you can, or do we make another play? Because at this point, Alliance is able to just keep pressure on PassionUA and Team Portugal.
It's going to come down to choice scenarios, especially, like you said, the timing of that EMP. The question is it during the climb up from PassionUA as they pressure the pipeline itself, or is it the initial onslaught from Alliance here as they're forced to shift down from above? Notably, it does look like just barely PassionUA might be able to play this a little bit longer than Alliance.
And I'm really curious because Sonya does have the rolling thunder. The timing of that coupled with the wingman can do a lot of damage in minimal time. So they can turn kind of this position underneath, but that EMP almost taking up the entirety of the circle. PassionUA starts kind of faltering. They lose a lot of their shields, but can we get back to full form before we have to continuously push out? And when will Team Portugal leave the tube?
Ultimately, that EMP, though, never hit Alliance. And the timing is oh so particular. But at the end of the day, that's what might come back to bite Team Portugal here. Now, Effect with ultimate in hand. It's going to be like shooting fish in a barrel when it comes down to the pipeline. Hockey's on the other side, and with one quick slide, they will find a major Fleshbound and the knocks to boot. They got to worry about UA from behind, though.
And here it goes. They stayed so healthy on that swing against Team Portugal. And Alliance, they win the first map with ease. Effect on that Bloodhound, just really utilizing the Beast of the Hunt to max potential and just eviscerate everyone.
It was a tough position to move in, but now we're heading into the next circle. Everyone is starting to try and find some space to coexist. You see Cold on one side of this rock and LCDF on the other, both looking at Made in Heaven. So this is an opportunity for Made in Heaven, who's the only one 100% safe right now, to just wait for these two teams to fight it out.
It is a bit odd there, but the positioning ultimately is beginning to breed what is potentially JMW's end. Sitting on just 1 point of health, LCDF will ultimately go for the full set, but this is going to cost them their placement, even if they come out in second. Made in Heaven now, the cleanup crew to deliver from above. Drop down the gas.
This is what Made in Heaven was waiting for. They take the opportunity, the extra caustical just because they can. Made in Heaven close out match number 2. I mean, once they nail down that position, Zephyr, on the north.
Well, for them, it might be easier said than done here, but from this kind of height, they're at an advantage. It's going to come down to Passion and Aurora in potentially their final moments. LCDF, a last remaining member, stuck on the rock ahead here. If they get one nice knock drop onto UA, it would be incredible, but Sonya is picked off from behind on that extension. Aurora capitalizing on the rotation.
Okay, Hardeki with a wingman and a 3v2. Oiring goes down, doubling it to a 2-2. Already, though, PassionUA, the biggest 1v1. Hardeki on the lifeline starts the reses. This is what we want to see, the hipfire coming through. Is this going to be an Aurora win? We've just got to finish it out. The punching comes through, but can we make it happen? We are getting worked here. It was so crazy, but in the end, we pull through in Aurora. They take map 3, the final map on...
It definitely should be interesting once they have to drop down from this height. They're obviously going to see if they can maybe do a little bit more damage here to their side. That's Forge hanging out in the wings, and they know that Forge is right behind that vehicle, so Cold is going to try to be as annoying as possible. Meanwhile, OMIT can kind of just watch this happen. Not to mention, look at the shields on OMIT. They are in a fantastic spot.
Yeah, this is nice. They've got a lot of space. They're working with 2 trees. The Evo armor's looking nice, but this end game here is all about kind of realizing, do we play for second? You've got the EMP coming through, the stuns aboard, and Cold trying to wait before they have to jump down, and now into the final 2. Can Cold get across this open space without taking too much damage? The passive of Bangalore is going to identify where the players are. Lufka pops Beast to the hunt, but it's Light that takes a lot of damage. Lufka's going to be able to suppress a bit, join back up alongside Light and barricade forward.
Cold has handled this so well, and Mid just down to 2 with no shields. Lufka even lower. Light now, oh my god, just 1, and it is OMIT somehow clutching up against Cold in those final moments to take home match number 4. That was insane, Tiff.
Look, Rafi said it first, I'll say it again. I really do like the setup that Made in Heaven's working with the fences, and OMIT is able to just keep continuously putting pressure on the double trident setup. They're gonna move it up just a little bit further. About 80 or so damage will occur. You jump back to the rocks, but you're setting your sights to move forward. Smoke, scan, and honestly, my man, the arm on that caustic, bro, that perk upgrade which allows you to essentially become the quarterback of an NFL team. Doesn't matter.
That boy throwing dumbbells like they're peanuts out here.
Something, but still has that Jenny for the next rotation. It's all about managing your cooldowns here and saving them for the time being. But look at Alliance. They're inching closer over towards Made in Heaven, and even OMIT is only going to have the Trident come through. But here we see the Bang ults. The Rolling Thunder's probably going to eat apart at OMIT.
Meanwhile, the nades find it coming down from above here, and they will ring with just as much pressure and pain as the height as well. But in the return, though, Lufka, once again, the wingman in play, comes to save the day. A drop from behind as Alliance will lose out on 1. This could be what sets Made Up in Heaven for their win.
Come on, like at this point in time, Made in Heaven, they get to play for the win, and Synetic cannot go down here. There were already trades on that first fight. The full send coming in, and now just trying to navigate through this. A glass cannon in hands of Synetic. Arctic takes towards the top. Tax, do not go down, you do, and now all hopes go to Arctic to try and put this one for Made in Heaven. The Chow comes in, he grabs that knock on to Unlucky, but it's not gonna be enough. Alliance do it again. Look, sometimes you gotta kind of get a little crazy, right? You throw those down, you look for extra cover, and you want Made in Heaven, you want Vex to focus on anyone else other than you. We have to inch forward, and this peak that Fonko has is kind of tough.
It's really aggressive here, but the extension out from the side from Aurora can be dicey. You've got to be careful, even as a duo. Just one pickup, and now with the return of Made in Heaven, it's not so easy anymore.
We really just gonna let this happen? Endgame? We talked about, you know, making these reses come through. Well, welcome back, Tax. Welcome back, Synetic. We're into full form here, and now the numbers disadvantage is going to go towards Aurora, and we full send on to the duo. We're looking for easy KP and playing for second.
Let's see, Made in Heaven here with a minor heal as Lemmy's Rolling Thunder will initially drop them out. For Tax and Arctic, though, as a duo, they'll hold on for dear life, even surviving 1 more position's all they want, and with Aurora going potentially down, X will win.
They do just that. They hold the rock, they section things off with the Rolling Thunder, and they play it patiently. And honestly, another team with another lifeline win. It's tough, right? Drop doesn't have ult. I don't see any ult excels. Maybe we can get one grabbed, but they likely won't have that. Probably not going to have caustic ult for endgame as well. So you start thinking about your pathing, because you're going to be one of the first teams required to move. Putting pressure straight towards Sentinels, who are going to go straight into the open here. And that'll be tough. Gonna have to really rely on Bangalore. But the thing is, I'm sure they know via the scans that EEC is just tucked in underneath them, waiting for them to bounce off into the barrels.
Sentinels make the move they have to do across the rock here to shore that distance. Now with Optic dropping down, EEC the next to go. Sentinels should follow suit very quickly, and it should be Disguised who comes in to clean this one up.
EEC grabs a knock as well. Sentinels claiming some. Optic the first team to fall in the end game, and now it allows Sentinels to try and put some pressure onto EEC, but RKN, we've got to hit the those shots. He's painting outlines. EEC falls because Disguise gets into the mix, and now you've got enemy on Caustic, barrel crawling forward, a Wraith play in the hands of Designful. He portals back. Oh, it's just the start.
Timmy's down on the other end from the other side of zone, though. A solid rotation finds Disguised coming out on top of it all.
Look, they're not just your Game 6 winners. They came here to play.
I don't know when they got there, but this is a huge opportunity for Moist to start shooting some of these squads on these off angles. No one was even looking their way.
This is just absurd. For Moist starting out in Skyhook, they delay their action as much as they can to let the game do the work for them. SSG looking for any kind of cover, lands right in the line of sight of MT and more. For Moist, they'll pick up that wipe, and I'll tell you what, they still have utility. Nox gas grenade, everything and more. This is the perfect setup for their end game.
This is huge for Moist now in a straight up 3v3 against Legacy, but an injured Legacy.
There it is.
The opportunity for Moist to make the push, dumps the full kit onto Legacy. It's just going to take a little bit of damage here on behalf of Moist before they're able to clean up match number 2. Huge performance for Moist.
They hold the entire northern side of this zone. They can play this hill. They don't have to extend out. SSG falls. And now we have that straight 3v3. DZ versus Legacy. Niazul, you know, you can see he has about 25, 50 HP on the shield. Yanya stays okay. They back off for now. We're expending through those ultimates, but Jen Burton still holds that Nox gas
really
trap.
Good. This was the best pressure they could have utilized here, and now finally throwing this one out. The ticks have begun, but it is very open. With that full assault, though, they are zoning them into perfect LOS setups. Zero from behind as Niazul will go down a 2v2 situation. They don't have that height.
Oh, and Zero's just trying to get an angle on one of them with the EVA 8-0 against the world. Can he make this happen? No. Legacies will evict. A former LAN champion says, this is my zone. We want to go back to LAN and prove ourselves. See Waltzy go down. Zero to be the one to do it. Jen on the inside, just putting as much pressure as possible. Xset playing kind of the mobile respawn they've called in on the top. Missile swarms coming in from Furia. Just gonna miss out on Legacy. They drop straight onto Xset, right onto the traps. The slow comes through. They are going to fall apart here. Goodbye, Legacy, and Xset gets the KP.
That gas was the 4th player on the team there against Legacy. Is now DarkZero just waiting for the perfect moment to start pushing in. You've got Xset and Optic waiting as well, while Furia get to watch all of this go down on the other side. They've already made their move in, and DZ are now stuck trying to battle back and forth here with Optic and the zone starting to push everybody forward.
As we look forward, the gas, it covers such a large area, but we have to get through this door. I don't see any nades that are going to be able, so we just have to barrel forward. Meanwhile, Xset's outside picking apart Optic before they fall into the final 4. DZ, we make a move, we get closer to being outside, but EEC, they drop. Jen, Sykes, they're gonna have to turn their attention onto them. Optic falls into the final 3. We need to clean up EEC, and we do now. Furia versus DZ. They have made their entry into this fight.
That was really solid playing on behalf of EEC. Furia have been waiting the entire time for these last few moments. They did a fantastic job being patient, and now they've moved in, also giving themselves a little bit of hype. They needed time to go up against DZ. All those red shields, and Furia drop down from below and take out DarkZero.
We say goodbye to Furia there. Surprisingly, Wi-Fi has managed to just last through the remnants of all of this action, and Legacy, who have been playing out their heart here, dominating, currently at 14 elims, are trying to balloon what actually might be even more than that. I think that might be 19 elims.
Look, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Hold
Thinking
on.
about where they were coming into the start, the final match day for them, they were in 14th place overall. 12 teams will make their way to LAN for Split 1 playoffs. They were about 7 points outside of Drop-In Gaming, who aren't playing today. And they needed the strongest performance. Can you imagine what 25 matchday points will do for them?
Something that could potentially set themselves up for LAN. Finally, I don't know for how long this has been something that Moist could have done there. Inevitably, Ape Gang is finally spotted out, and it takes us back to the presence that Legacy knows best, a straight 3v3.
They navigated one earlier against DarkZero, and it started a lot like this. I will say a little too much damage was taken on the cross because Moist, they've stayed healthy. They're just peering over, and while one does get to the top, it's going to be MT opening it up. The trade did come through, though, and now MT with 5 HP have to keep this dream alive. Niazul does get a shield swap, so 1v2, and there we go. Legacy with a beautiful cleanup.
I love this because we even go back to our interview with Psycho earlier, and he said it himself.
All of the damage. My only issue with this is Zero doesn't have any nades. He uses his thermite earlier to break the door, but they do have the bang ult, and I'm curious, was Jen able to get the cooldown off on the Nox cast trap?
Complexity ultimately face a double knock there, Monsoon being that final member to play upon the cover, but it's going to be an incredibly hard game just to survive alone here. For DarkZero, with those points they've picked up, they've officially surpassed Moist here after what was their early elimination.
Yep, we are trapping forward. He does have his ult avail. And now for E8 on the bottom of this building. Monsoon still alive elsewhere. 9 Lives does fall.
Good tries. We'll see how that ends up on the overall a little bit later here. Elevate particularly strong as Monsoon, of course, that last member alive, a singular rat in this exchange. The smokes to give a bit of cover here. You have to wonder if Monsoon gets a little feisty.
I mean, I don't blame E8 for full sending this, and it just depends on how much damage Monsoon's able to do to elevate, but they should stay healthy. I'd imagine we are also holding our Nox gas grenade in pocket, and DZ, they make their entryway in. Beast of the Hunt is popped, and we are just going forward. Zykes, a glass cannon. He does fall, though. It doesn't even matter because they've done enough to put the pressure on, and when times get tough, you just focus on the rotated hand, and maybe you'll win a map number 6.
A simple, clear comms here for DZ leads to the ultimate exchange of